I'm known as a tall girl, but I do have a name. I'm not. And whatever I'll be sharing to you guys today, I hope it leaves you a small little message to your heart. Shout out loud, I am lucky to be who I am, Dr. Seuss stated. Although human like us loves to question a lot, including me. Am I lucky to be who I am? Am I content with who I am? Is there anything about myself that I would want to change? These are some simple questions I ask myself at the beginning of each year to reflect and think of New Year resolution. But little did I know that these questions could hurt me and belittle me in a way. And yes, so it did, which eventually led me to this journey that I never expected myself to have to walk in. Growing up as a tall girl in an Asian society, to be more specific, Thailand, where an average woman's height is at around 159 centimeters. I am now standing at 178 centimeters, plus the 2 centimeters from my Nike Air Force, so I'm perfectly standing at 180. And walking down the streets, people would ask me questions like, oh my gosh, you're so tall. How is it like being tall? Or even funny ones like, what did your mom feed you to make you this tall? Or the common one you find everywhere, especially in high school. How's the weather out there, tall girl? Well, I gotta swear with my Nike Air Force that they may sound like compliments or something good, but in a way, not even once that I felt that these are, benefiting me or like a compliment to me. Adults also have these perceptions of kids as someone who's innocent, pure, and sincere. And actually, I agree with them because as a kid, I would not really care about my appearance. I would not even care what other people thought of me or how they would perceive me. But moreover, I thought about food. One time, my mom told me this story. She asked me this question twice, 3 years apart. Once when I was 3 and another time when I was 6. She asked me the same simple question. And somehow I managed to give her the same answer, even though it's been 3 years apart. She asked me, what is your favorite thing to do? That's simple. I could be telling her that I love swimming, I love dancing, I love singing. But what I told her was, I love to eat ice cream. You see, ice cream, it could be anyone's favorite thing, but it was little Nut's happiness. And growing up, I started to realize that I'm kind of losing these happy moments, this little happiness. And maybe that's just how life is. As I grow up, I also realized that I started to question things that little Nut wouldn't have even asked. I now then question, am I too tall? Or even questions like, am I buying these new pants because I'm growing, or is it because I'm putting on more weight? Or questions like, will people think I'm older because I'm just taller? However, life did proceed it normally. But I just thought that if I was just a little bit shorter, I would have enjoyed life a lot more, as I get to experience the ordinary life that my friends did. I didn't have small little flings in elementary because most guys were just shorter than me. Hold on, let me just rephrase that. All guys were shorter than me. And I didn't even have the chance to buy these cute shoes because, my feet, they outgrew all the shoes trend. And then I even failed a Disney audition because they said I was too tall for my age. Ironically, I experienced something that my friends, or maybe some of you guys here, won't even experience in 10 years. So let's do a little bit of a throwback. Back when I was in 4th grade, I was 152 centimeters tall, which could be considered as a height that, Asians, it's like a normal height for an Asian woman. And I clearly remember that on that day, it was a flight back from Krabi to Bangkok. I was wearing a long beach dress with a pattern of white and blue stripes. I was so happy to be able to go back home because I was just drained and tired from that trip. So I was happy. And the normal procedure of boarding a plane. You get your tickets and your passport, check one last time before you go up on the airplane. So I did it normally, like how I would usually do. I would line up and then wait for my turn. I was so happy. But once my turn is there, I noticed that my happiness died down. My smile faded away because the air hostess made a disturbing comment. I'm sure she didn't mean to hurt me in any ways, but she said, "How many months are you into your pregnancy?" Well, wow, 10-year-old Nut was stunned, utterly shocked. I didn't know what to do. It felt like a whole bee just stung my whole entire body. I was speechless, and moments later, when she checked and opened my passport, she saw my birthday, and she gave me that embarrassed chuckle. That embarrassed chuckle. But guess what? I don't think she should be embarrassed. I should be embarrassed. And I just ran away. And every time I thought about this situation, I questioned myself two things. Was I that tall that made her think that I'm really old enough to have a baby? Or did my belly bulge out that much to make her think that I'm pregnant? Well, that was an experience. It would be an incident that I will definitely remember for the rest of my life. But that wasn't the turning point of my diet journey. So let's cut to 8th grade. 8th grade was a time when I became more wary about my body image. Like, I started seeing things in the mirror, flaws that I've never seen before, which at one point I started to make a commitment to myself. So by the time I was in 9th grade, I started working out harder. I started to eat less. And up to one point, greed has eaten me up. I was consumed by the thought of losing weight fast, and I was consumed by the thought of losing a lot of weight in such a small amount of time. I even started to skip dinner, even when I had a 2-hour-long volleyball practice every single day. I thought that if I had to seize the opportunity. I know that heavy workout, heavy cardio would benefit my diet. I thought that being hungry meant that I was losing weight. However, I was wrong. I was completely wrong. That was not right. And greed is a fat demon with a small mouth, and whatever you feed it, it is never enough. I gotta totally agree with this because I was never really satisfied with my results in any way. And that is how it has led me to a downfall in this diet journey. It has only been a couple months into this fad diet journey, and a lot of things that's changed. I became obsessed with numbers. The time, the calories on pieces of packaging, and the scale. The scale has become a very big part of my life. It became my serotonin. It determined my mood. I would weigh myself daily, or sometimes even twice a day, just to see how my body fluctuates. And if on a certain day my body didn't fluctuate the way I wanted, I would be so harsh on myself, and I would end up being in such a pessimistic mood. During this journey, I lost one of my best friends, aka food. Yeah, I lost my best friend because through this journey, I had to restrict myself from eating delicious food, including ice cream. And I minimized my portions and calories to the smallest amount as possible. And every time when I wanted to eat something, I would be obsessively looking at the packaging and just counting calories when I didn't even have to. Numbers blinded me from happiness. I thought that numbers then became something I determined my future bliss with. I thought that if I don't eat this now, I would be happy later. And then after all that, I just thought to myself that maybe me and numbers are nemesis after all, just how I used to hate math in elementary. Numbers took away the E in my ENFJ. I hated going out. I started to hate going out, especially when times my mom would tell me, let's go shopping. Shopping should be a good thing. You get to go buy things that you like. And then I just hated it. I hated the fact that I have to dress up. Every time I had to dress up, I would dress myself up in the baggiest and the comfiest clothes. And every time I go shopping and have to try a piece of wardrobe on, I would make tons of dumb excuses up about how I couldn't fit into that certain pants. In general, I just hated mannequins. I hated clothing because every time I walk into a store, it just lowers my self-esteem. And from that, you guys probably think, yeah, it definitely went downhill. Yeah, it definitely went downhill from there. But something happened. Something big happened. The pandemic happened. The pandemic probably changed many of yours lives, and it did change my life too. I had the chance to slow down, think to myself, relax, and ask questions about my past actions. I think to myself, am I really enjoying this? When is this loop of being obsessed with food and exercise going to be over? Am I just happy in general? Well, having the time to come back to myself and think was a small change to my mindset. Being in quarantine stopped me from being obsessive over food and exercise. I tried to set myself free. And parts of me hated it so much. Hated it so much because I know that I won't be able to control anymore. I won't take control of what I eat or how many minutes of exercise I will do. But then I learned that I shouldn't let numbers define who I am. I shouldn't let food and exercise be the deciding factor of my happiness. So I thought to myself that I will make a change. If I were to change again, I would not change for the sake of others, of how would they view me, but I would change for myself. So I started to love myself. I started to care about myself more. From days to days, I would tell myself some compliments that would make me feel good. And the reason why I do that is because sometimes the only believer you need is yourself. Well, standing here, talking to you guys, sharing a personal story and my struggles with you, I think I'll have to add that to my success of self-love, because it is really hard. It's so frightening. I'm on the stage alone talking to tons of you guys, and it takes up a lot of courage. So I just want to use this chance to get to talk to you guys. I know what I will be asking you guys right now is just going to be so vague and broad and something you guys probably have heard for like at least 100 times. But imagine this with me. Imagine a world that it is less of a judgmental place. Because, there are a lot of people out there who are facing similar problems as I am right now. And some of them might not end up sharing stories like me. But just imagine how life could be so much easier for them to know that people surrounding them is supportive of them, and really just care for them and love them for who they really are. Through my 17 years of life, I went through a lot of things, I think. I learned many lessons. I went over a lot of obstacles and many adventures. And one of the biggest lessons I learned is that being insecure is fine. Being not okay sometimes is actually okay, but just don't dwell into it too much, because at one point you might lose yourself. You might lose the chance to get to be someone who you really always wanted to be. Because in the end of the day, you are no one in other people's story. I know it's kind of hard to hear, but yeah, it is. You're actually no one's in other people's story, because in that story, that person is also trying so hard to shine so bright in their own story. So what's the point of butting in and just shining a little and little when you actually can shine so bright on your own? You are and you can be the protagonist of your story. So Stop pushing yourself away from the shores. You're only doing that and you're just going to be deeper in the ocean. It's going to be harder to get closer to the shore again. So today, I'm using this moment to tell you guys that this is my call to you guys, that you guys can be the protagonists of your own